So I promised that I would do video reviews for the books that I read in my last video, and I didn't because I seemed unable to do a video of any merit. So I actually did written ones, which I will, on Goodreads, which I will link, or actually on my blog, I will link in the description area for Just One Year and Just One Night, The Little Prince, and I still haven't written one for Sandman by Neil Gaiman. I don't know why, I just haven't. I have read since then, surprisingly, and it's kind of exciting, so I thought I would share some of the books that I have read with you, and then also I used part of my gift cards to get more books today because I have a problem. The first thing I read was, I finally read Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress by Diaries. I mentioned last time I was looking for new Asian literature to add to my curriculum, desperately needed, and I was hoping this would be the book for teaching my sophomores world literature because it's under 200 pages, which is pretty awesome, but there are some elements of it that I am not comfortable discussing with my sophomores. This might be better for seniors, maturity level wise. I've written a review for this, and that is going to be in the description as well. But it is a good book. It's certainly interesting. Around 1971, about the re-education movement in China, and that was just really fascinating to me because I knew nothing about it, because I know very little about China. So anyway, that was good. I also, in my search for looking for short books to read, because, yeah, I also read Breakfast at Tiffany's and the other short stories by Truman Capote. Holy cow, this is so good. His ability with language is amazing. The sentences are fabulous, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but English teacher coming out. I also really enjoyed the other short stories. Breakfast at Tiffany's was great. I also enjoyed House of Flowers, A Diamond Guitar, and my favorite, A Christmas Memory. I've written a really long review with all these quotes because I found so many sentences I liked. I do that, which I will also link in the description, but you need to read this. It is different than the movie, but I don't really care. It's still really, really good, and oh my gosh, loved it. Hi, Margie. And then I don't know why I reread this trilogy because I think I was talking to a student about L.J. Smith, who wrote The Vampire Diaries, which is this TV series I didn't really like. I watched like 8 episodes, and then I really didn't actually like the book series. It was my least favorite out of the books she read. But one of my favorites by her was the Psychic Kid series, the Dark Vision series, and these are very mid-90s covers. I got them off of eBay before they re-released them. And over the last couple days, I've reread these. The first one is The Strange Power, The Possessed, and then The Passion. And it's about psychic kids, and it's a little cheesy. The depth of character is not there. That wasn't quite the focus as much of the introspective narrator that we have today in the mid-90s. But there's a lot of like cool stuff that goes on in it. I liked the characters. They're interesting. I still desperately want to see this made into a movie. Okay? Somebody out there, you need to get the movie rights to this, and you need to write it because it would be awesome. So, I also read that, which is a reread, probably for the 3rd time. I also read, which I recently bought, Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. As most people have put on their reviews of it, it is not a retelling of Alice in Wonderland with zombies. It's actually more, I would say, inspired by Alice in Wonderland. There are elements, like there's a cloud that looks like a rabbit a lot of the time, and then there's a couple other little elements that are kind of Wonderland-esque, including a main character named Alice. But other than that, it sort of isn't at all a retelling, but I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of things that my critical brain sort of moved on to, but Margie is chasing her bone. Sorry. I don't know why she is, because it's not like her bone moves. But generally, it was a lot of fun, and it's been a while since a book has been fun to me. The dialogue was really snappy. I liked Alice, the main character, her friends, the guy that she has a thing for is pretty attractive and interesting, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's a little big, but I read it in one sitting. It was awesome. So, yeah, good book. At the moment, I am reading Snowflower and the Secret Fan. I started it today. This one I think might be the book for my students. I'm about 34 pages in. I've been underlining and circle things. It is fascinating. The stuff about foot binding is so painful and slightly disgusting, possibly more upsetting than reading The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, which is impressive because that's pretty upsetting with the meatpacking stuff. But really well written, beautiful. I'm really liking it. I'll probably do a review on this. I'm hoping to get it done maybe this weekend. And now, because I have those gift cards, and so it's not like I'm spending money, but I'm totally going to be out of bookshelf space if I'm not already. I bought a few books with my gift cards today. The first thing I bought was, because I enjoyed Alice in Zombieland so much, I got the next book, which is in paperback, thank goodness, Through the Zombie Glass. Hopefully it will be just as much fun and the world will develop even more. What I liked about it is the zombies are rather original, how they exist. I haven't read a whole lot of zombie books, but particularly I thought it was new and original and interesting. So we're looking forward to reading that. The third book, sadly, is in hardcover, so I might have to wait a while. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I've always heard good things about it. I read the first page, and I was like, sounds like fun. Been wanting to read it. It's in paperback. Awesome. And then I follow a lot of book blogs on Tumblr, Bookler, whatever you want to call it, and they have been gushing about Throne of Glass by Sarah Maas, M-A-A-S, Maas, who apparently started on Fiction Press, which is pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of people who do well on those sort of writing sites and are actually talented writers and like put out books. Kudos to them. So I've heard really good things about it. I read the first page. The woman's an assassin. Sounds pretty awesome to me. It's fantasy. It should be pretty good. And there's like a lot of books. So if it's really awesome, I have lots more books to read. And then last but not least, I think this is my last Salinger to read, unless there's other short stories. Raise High, The Roof Beam Carpenters, and Seymour, An Introduction by J.D. Salinger. I think I've read everything else by him that was published. I don't know. I'll have to look. At least the stuff in Barnes & Noble I'd all read. And look, it's a nice small edition, so I'm really excited about that. As we know, I'm now a huge, huge fan of J.D. Salinger, and therefore I need to read more of his stuff. And I just really hope that there are things in his vault that will get published now that he's died, and hopefully he'll share it with the world. I know, right? Lots of stuff. So I've been reading and I've been buying, and like I said, Snowflower and The Secret Fan so far has been pretty cool. There's just a lot of interesting stuff that I didn't know about China and how women were treated. The foot binding is terrifying. I hope everyone is well. I hope spring is coming your way. It is spring here. I was actually going to film outside on my deck or on my balcony, but there are huge bees and wasps, and despite me using the spray stuff, they still get really close. So that's annoying. So for my sake and your sake, there will be no big bees shown. Yeah, so that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys later. If you have any suggestions, since I seem to be on this weird, I'm reading classics as well as literary novels as well as YA all at once, feel free to make suggestions in the comments section. And feel free to do the thumbs up if you liked my video. If you didn't, just go away because that's just mean. Peace out.